Welcome everyone to the Chris Perish podcast. My name is Chris Perish. This is episode 64. And first off, I'd like to thank that list that you see beside me, Turnbuckle Studios. That is right, Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. Right there down below, ticking on the bottom, affiliationprogram.my.canva.site. If you want to go and get your introduction to podcasting content creation, go check out affiliationprogram.my.canva.site, and you can get all the details of joining not just StreamYard but the Turnbuckle Studios family. We will show you a little bit of a video later on, just looking at all the shows that we cover, and you, through the affiliation program, could go and check out and even be a part of that video. Also want to thank beercadewhyte, located on X, Instagram, and Facebook, located 10544 82nd Ave in Edmonton, Alberta, being the proud paying sponsor to the Chris Perish podcast. We say thank you. And I'll be taking a little trip down there shortly, as we are officially getting the merchandise that was from the Royal Rumble to the venue. So when you're going to WrestleMania night 1 or night 2, the winner from the Royal Rumble event will receive a very nice gift live from the Royal Rumble. Nice little working relationship that both myself and Beercade did. I thought that was a great thing that we can do for everyone who supports us. And supporting the locals, right? Because, it's very important we support local, wherever local may be for you. Last night, we saw Vengeance Day, and what a show it was, opening up with the women's North American title match. Stephanie McCure taking on Fallon Henley, and let me tell you something, this match was the match of the night. It was my favorite match of the night, and it absolutely delivered from bell to bell, because Stephanie McCure and Fallon Henley just took it to one another. And yes, Fatal Influence did get involved. They tried and they tried and they tried, but Fallon Henley and Fatal Influence could not find a way to hold down Stephanie McCure, as she was able to fight off all three members and proclaim herself as the new women's North American champion. What an absolute great match that was. I thought it was fantastic. If you haven't gone back and seen it, make sure you do if you're in Canada or anywhere. I don't know where you'd see it on in the United States, maybe Peacock, but anywhere else, go to Netflix, check out Vengeance Day. You can just start from the beginning, because it's the first match of the night. It was an absolute fantastic match, and congratulations to Stephanie McCure for being the new North American Women's Champion. And I will tell you this, it was not the last time we saw her in this show. Next up, we had the tag team title matches with Fraxium taking on Yoshikika Inamura, I believe that's how you pronounce it, and Josh Briggs. And let me tell you something, Inamura and Briggs absolutely exceeded any expectations I had going into this match. This is something where I thought it was a very low-key tag team title match, but I've been finding a pattern that when it's this low-key, chances are it's going to blow you away, and that's exactly what they did. An impressive performance out of Josh Briggs and Inamura, and I really want to see them more often. This kind of partnership really happened at Pro Wrestling Noah, where NXT and Pro Wrestling Noah, they also have a working relationship. And this is kind of where this pairing blossomed, and then it carried over to NXT, and it's really kind of taken a new height as of late. And their match last night at Vengeance Day, I think, really put them on the map, really made an impact. Their relationship with TNA, but this match and this performance really put them in the running for a tag team in the tag team division. So, really looking forward to seeing what they can do next. But Fraxium definitely are the standard right now for the men's tag team division in NXT as they reclaim their championships. I don't think anybody doubted this, but at the same time, they had their hands full with Briggs and Inamura, and I thought this was a fantastic match as well, but not as fantastic as that opening match. We also saw a strap match between Trick Williams and Eddie Thorpe, and this match was something I was hoping to see an absolute brawl with. We got a lot of physicality, we got a lot of aggression, but at the same time, we got a lot of playing to the crowd in this match. And I don't know if that was really needed. The story kind of didn't really have the crowd per se. Like Trick Williams, in my eyes, should have just went straight for blood in this match. Very similar later on to the Ethan Page, Javion Evans story. Same kind of deal. But at the same time, a lot of more aggression and attitude should have been out in Trick Williams. Like Eddie Thorpe has been kind of finding every way not to face Trick Williams, but also finding every way to take things away from Trick Williams. So if I was Trick Williams, I just wanted to absolutely stomp this man to the point where I don't have to look at him anymore. I don't have to deal with him anymore. I can just finish it off tonight. And then tomorrow I can look back and continue on with my quest and becoming a third-time NXT champion. But that's not exactly what happened, as we did see a lot of physicality. In fact, I was actually impressed with Eddie Thorpe. He was very much the aggressor in this match and took advantage of situations and opportunities and found the opportunity to go low on Trick Williams with the use of the strap and then get the 1-2-3. He found a way to outsmart Trick Williams, and that's exactly what Eddie Thorpe needed to do. It necessarily wasn't about being stronger, tougher. It was really all about being smarter than Trick Williams. And that's exactly what he did. He ended up getting the win. And Eddie Thorpe, in my eyes, now has a claim on why he should maybe face Obafemi next for that NXT championship. I thought it was a big win that Eddie Thorpe picked up on Trick Williams. But yeah, no, I expect Trick Williams to be as chaotic as humanly possible on Tuesday, because he should not be okay with the finish of this match by any means. And that kind of leads us to the Ethan Page Javion Evans match. And this is another one where I'm expecting Javion Evans to absolutely take to Eddie Page. He broke his jaw. He almost didn't make the show because of not being medically cleared. I thought there was a lot of payback for Ethan Page. And for a good chunk of time, we did. In fact, Ethan Page was even busted open. I believe it was in the nose. And we were seeing the blood just oozing out of the nose early on in this match. The only issue is, I thought as the match went down, we saw Javion Evans almost kind of let down on the aggressive striking. And then as Ethan Page was working on the ankle very, very diligently, I thought, we just didn't see Javion Evans, in my eyes, take that one. This is an issue that I have with a lot of modern day wrestling, and that is when you're smaller and you have the ability to be very athletic like Javion Evans is. I have nothing but absolute respect for the athleticism of Javion Evans. But what I don't like is that when you're getting your ankle continuously worked on, you are not selling it as well. There is no need for you to jump off it as much. I don't know if anybody has had an ankle injury, but you aren't going to be able to get much power, much force, much strength off that at that time. It's going to take a while. Yeah, you can compensate, but 9 times out of 10, that's when you get hurt in wrestling, believe it or not, is when you compensate for something else. And then you put too much stress on whether, in this case, would be an other ankle. To me, it just took a little bit of believability away from this match because I wanted to see Javian Evans adapt to the situations he was forced. I wanted him to overcome the situations, whether it's the broken jaw, whether or not it's the ankle injury. I wanted to see him struggle but overcome. And we saw the same Javian Evans in this match as it went on. We saw him always resorting to his high-risk maneuvers. And I don't think this match needed as much high-risk maneuvers. And when you do all these high-risk maneuvers, the key word here is risk. Because as he jumped and leaped, he opened his face up for a right hand from Ethan Page that knocked him silly. Got him right on the chin, and that really, really almost just ended this match right away. We saw Ethan Page hit his version of the Twist of Fate short after, pick up the 1, 2, 3. Because Ethan Page is one person who does not need to do all these flash to get the job done. He's all about how do I get the task done just properly. Not pretty, but properly. And there is a difference. Javian Evans, I thought, in a way, really took, in a wrestling way, a maturity lesson tonight because I think, or last night, because I do think he learned that it's not about making everything look beautiful. It just needs to be effective. I do think he is going to bounce back off this, and I really want to see what he does moving forward because I do think he has a load of potential in his repertoire, and I just want to see him get there. But he does not need to go back to the well as often as he does. Chris Best coming in saying, I suffer ankle injuries constantly. There was no way Javian Evans should have done what he did in that match. Well, it just shows that what he did in that match wasn't proper for the situation. Now, is that what gets him there? Absolutely. And I don't fault him for doing what gets you there because it is what he is physically, athletically able to do that got him noticed and got him that position next to. But in a position against Ethan Page where he doesn't worry about making it look pretty, he's worried about being effective. You have to learn to adapt and understand when to use those high-risk maneuvers properly. I look at somebody like Rey Mysterio or even AJ Styles. Throughout their careers, they have learned to adapt and mature to when to do something, but more importantly, when not to do something. And because of that, it's led to a lot of individual success, multiple world titles, multiple championship opportunities, multiple big match situations. So this is something that Javian Evans has to learn to do in order to become an NXT champion, North American champion, and just more of a top player in NXT. And yes, I'm saying NXT for now because right now I just don't see him going anywhere other than NXT for a good chunk of time. And then we got, in my eyes, a kind of an okay title match. I didn't really hate the title match, but there's nothing to write home about. It was Austin Theory versus Grayson Waller versus Oba Femi. And it was kind of what it was. We've seen that Austin Theory, Grayson Waller kind of beaking each other back and forth, using that to their advantage to throw their opponent off. This time, we saw some mind games with Austin Theory coming out, Grayson Waller not coming out with him, but then interrupting his entrance with his own, and then just trying to do his own thing. Now, I get it because you're in an individual match, you're not in a tag match. So, again, I understand the mentality here, and I do not fault Grayson Waller for, kind of for just doing what he's doing, because again, you're in this for a singles championship, so you're kind of looking for yourself here. Austin Theory, though, who's more decorated out of the two from an individual standpoint, I think was just taken back by this. But Obafemi, he is a man who means nothing but business. If there's one person that could take down these guys, it's Obafemi. And that's exactly what he did. Now, he struggled when it was 2-on-1. But when there was any rift between Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, Obafemi was quick to pick up on that, and that's exactly what he needed to do to find his way back into this match. Now, there was times where Austin Theory and Grayson Waller were in the ring, and you were wondering, should Obafemi just kind of let the two kind of go and see what happened? But he didn't. In fact, he took the opportunity to take one out and to kind of decrease the opportunity of anybody else, increasing their opportunity to win his championship. And I thought that was the right move. Now, we joked on the PLE Patrol of what we do in a video game. And yeah, if you're in a triple threat, you just let the other two beat each other up, and then you come in, you slide in, you take the easy way. Sure, it's a video game, but this isn't a video game. Obafemi is the defending champion, and he's going up against a former tag team champion in A-Town Down Under. Yes, they're individuals, but deep down they are smart enough to work together. And you do not want to take that risk. So what does Obafemi do? He takes matters in his own hands, and he kind of tries to isolate each person to the point where it led to a big mistake by Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller is trying to be pretty and flashy. He jumps in the ring with a little spin, goes for the stunner on Obafemi. Obafemi moves out of the way. He hits it on Austin Theory, and as he's in disbelief, that is when Obafemi takes advantage and defeats Grayson Waller to retain his championship. And I thought that was a job very well done by him. And I just thought Obafemi really stood out in this match. It was a match that I thought was very predictable, very much on the side of, okay, how are they going to make me invested in this match, knowing that I know A-Town Down Under aren't going to walk out with the championship? How are they going to do that? And yes, they went in the way of, okay, does Austin Theory and Grayson Waller have a rift? Sure. But they actually showed me how smart Obafemi really is. We all know how powerful he is. We all know how dominant he can be. But what we haven't really seen as of much is how smart he is in the ring. And I thought he came out very intelligent, and which adds to his overall presentation as being more dangerous than you can be, because when you have somebody the size of Obafemi, with the speed of Obafemi, the power of Obafemi, the resilience of Obafemi, now you add the smarts and intellect in there, that means you're going to have to do so much more to take that title off him. And I'm very much looking forward to who that person is. Now, what happened after this match is the same of what happened after the tag match. We've been seeing this mysterious maybe even more person group kind of have vignettes on NXT. Now, we know one is Leon, what was his name? Dion Lennox. The other one was Color Jane. I did not get the names of the other two, but these four men came down and they took out everyone in the tag match. Fraxia, Inamura, Briggs. And then they weren't done. We saw them come out and absolutely take it to Obafemi. And as what we saw was going to be a kind of a Shield-like triple power bomb, it was actually a Shield-like 4-person power bomb. And I thought it was very intriguing just to see kind of what they did. Yes, there's a lot of Shield references to this group because they had masks on that at one point the Shield kind of tried to duo. But what I like is that you have 4 people now trying to change the game, trying to join a revolution, per se. And what I find very interesting is that we also see another man. Now, we've known him as Ricky Starks. We don't know what his name is yet. Because, yes, people, if you're living under Dwayne Johnson, on Tuesday, the man that we all know as the absolute Ricky Starks debuted on NXT. And we were wondering, oh my, okay, 24 hours, we just learned that he was released and then he was free to go anywhere. 24 hours after that, he's already in NXT. Okay. But they never, and when I say they, WWE, NXT, no one mentioned his name, which led to speculation. But what we all know is that he says join the revolution. My thought is what happens if these two parties are linked? And we know that the Absolute One is coming to NXT this Tuesday to sign his NXT contract, which I'm assuming we're going to find out. Is he going to be Ricky Starks? Is he going to be somebody else? But what if he is connected to this 4-man mystery group? What if he's the one leading this mystery group and they are causing all this chaos for the Absolute One to get to the top of NXT? I could be way off. I could be dead on. I don't know. But the fact that we have a debut in a very quiet manner, in the sense of he's not interfering with anyone. He's not doing anything to anyone. He's just making his presence felt. And then we have 4 men doing the complete opposite. Maybe they're intertwined. That's all I'm saying. Just maybe. And then kind of brings us to our main event. But before we get to the main event, I want to talk a little bit about kind of the overall presentation of NXT. Because right now, and yeah, the main event is a 4-way. Roxanne Perez versus Bayley versus Julia versus Corey Jade. I think I want to talk about, because I'm seeing the online stuff about the mid-card women's championships as of late, and how a lot of people are upset with the fact that Lyra Valkyria and Chelsea Green both lost in qualifying matches to the Chamber as champions, which, I mean, it's hilarious to see this narrative, by the way. Just hilarious, because it's like everyone on Twitter now knows exactly how to book a wrestling show, which is hilarious to me, because I'm pretty sure Twitter realizes how not to book one because I see it on Wednesday. But what I find very funny about this is that WWE has another brand, NXT, and you look and look and look with how it's dominated and ran and consistently booked with women, new crops of women, an absolute abundance of women. Just when you thought, okay, Paige is coming out, it's Paige and Natalia. Then you go to Charlotte, you go to the 4 Horsewomen. Then you go to Asuka. Then you're going to pretty much Shayna Baszler. Also, I'm trying to remember, Athena was right there as well. there always seems to be somebody next, right? Right now, we're in a transitional period again because Roxanne Perez looks like she is main roster bound, right? She has a match tomorrow on Raw against Raquel Rodriguez. I think a lot of people forget that, yes, we have the championships on the main roster, but if you really want to get your fill, if you really want to scratch the itch of women's wrestling, NXT is the spot to be at. Now, the main roster is going to remind you that you have that itch. The main roster is going to tease you with that scratch, but you're really going to get that full scratch of that itch in NXT because this is the place you want to invest your time if you like women's wrestling and WWE. Yes, you're going to get great matches on the main roster. And yes, if you want to go to TNA, you are also going to get great matches. But as we talk about this main event, we will talk about this transition as well. We had the four-way. And yes, these women put on a clinic. We saw multiple attempts to win. We saw multiple spots that just left you, ooh, this is new. I like this. Okay. But what we saw was, I thought, some developing situations. We saw a developing situation with Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez as they understood that they needed to work together a lot more often. And I thought they did a better job than A-Town Down Under in this. And then when push came, they did not hesitate. It was almost like they knew that when push comes to shove, it was just a matter of time before one of them got pushed and the other got shoved. And that was just part of the game. But what I really saw was, okay, there's going to be something out of this. I do fully believe that when we're seeing Roxanne Perez, we're going to see a transition back to a babyface. And I say this because I do think we're going to see it in NXT first. And I do think Cora Jade is going to be the aggressor that reminds Roxanne that when she was worrying about the fans, that's not when she was the most successful. To the point where I do believe that this is a match that's stand and deliver, and it's going to be Roxanne Perez's last match in NXT. And then what we saw Bayley in this match, and I thought, yes, Bayley, Roxanne, they're potentially going to do something on Raw in the future. They're kind of beefing right now. They're doing some things. I get it. But I really thought Bayley was there to kind of transition and to really make this match successful because we know her, how well she made Damage Control an absolute success in terms of faction. But now we've seen kind of with her use in Royal Rumbles how good she is of just putting things together. And I think that's really why she was in this match, not only to help elevate the women in NXT. They're doing a great job. When I say they, WWE is doing a great job of using women from Raw and SmackDown coming down to NXT and help elevate them even more. I don't really find that much of a change of level between somebody from the main roster to NXT. In fact, I actually do see a lot of quality when it comes to the talent there, and that has a lot to do with the amount of times they're working with each other when you're seeing somebody come down or somebody go up. You see everyone, I'm finding the women of NXT, when they go up, they push themselves and they challenge themselves. And then when they're coming back to NXT, you're seeing almost the same thing, but you're seeing that done in a way to help elevate. And I think what they're doing right now within the women's division in WWE, they're working together to create and create and create. And I think that is such a wonderful thing. It is such a wonderful thing to watch because I do think there is a collective understanding with everyone inside this company that you're only going to benefit by working with one another and doing everything. Don't worry about, oh, you're taking this spot, you're taking that spot. Worry about how you can make what you're doing the best. And I think that's shining through really well. And that's why I didn't think there was a weak link in this match. And because of that, when Julia got the 1-2-3 on Roxanne Perez, yes, I was a little bit, okay, maybe I thought Cora Jade was going to get this. In position, I thought Cora Jade was going to be the one pin. I didn't hate it because what we saw was really the staple of the change in the guard, because Julia is now the face of the women's division in NXT. And then when she was raising her title, out comes Stephanie Vakir, the new women's North American champion. They do a fist bump and they showcase this is the new generation of women's wrestling in NXT. But then the sirens hit and out comes the juggernaut Jordynne Grace to remind everyone that guess what? You're not the only ones that are representing the new wave of women's wrestling in NXT. So what we're seeing right now in this match and kind of what came out after it wasn't just a, oh my God, you got hit after hit after hit. What you saw is the stakes being raised. We have Julia, we have Stephanie Vakir, and now we have Jordynne Grace on the front line when we're talking about the NXT women's division. And I don't know about you, but I think that is pretty damn cool. I think that's pretty damn good. And I think who isn't going to want to watch NXT and their women's division when those are your three-headed monster? And this just allows Fallon Henleys, Kalani Jordans, your Carmen Petrovics, your Jada Parkers, Cora Jades, everyone else, Sol Ruka, Zarya. You have so many now. And they are just going to put. It's like the analogy in hockey, where if you have three great centers, you can put them on one line and say, hey, look, we're going to hit you with everything. Or you can put them in different parts of your lineup and help make your lineup just an overall stronger thing. And I think that's exactly what NXT has in its women's division. Earlier in the show, talked about the Turnbuckle affiliation program and the video. I'm going to play this video right now because I'm going to give you guys about a minute to recoup, to get your maybe drinks refilled. And then we're going to change subjects to how I would book WrestleMania.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m., followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursday we got total non-stop action with Brace for Impact at 8 p.m. Friday we game again with Unleashed, the Jessica Wilde story at 7 p.m. Following the game, join us for the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday be sure to catch the Chris Perish podcast at 12:15 p.m. followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
And that is what we have coming up every week for the Turnbuckle affiliation programs on Turnbuckle Studios, as we have Bobby Stats coming in. Bobby Benito, hello. How are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Thank you for coming by. Also, I want to give a shout out to everyone watching on the X account and Instagram Live. If you're watching on Instagram Live and you want to be active, in fact, this goes for all platforms, please be respectful, but also be active and put out your comment in the comment section, and I will get to it when I can. The only issue is on Instagram Live. It does not appear on StreamYard, which is what I do use to stream out. So it will take perhaps a little bit of extra time to get it out, but I will do so. Also, if by chance you do want to watch more episodes of the Chris Perish podcast and you're wondering where can I do that, well, make sure you go to my YouTube channel. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, hit that notification bell button to alert yourself every time that I go live. But also check out the Chris Perish podcast on Spotify, because all episodes of the Chris Perish podcast are on Spotify, and you can get episode 64 updated after we go live. Bobby coming in saying, who would you like to see go after Stephanie Victor's NXT Women's North American Championship? I am going to say I think a rematch with Fallon Henley is something we're going to get on an episode of NXT coming up. But I would like to see Jada Parker or maybe even Connie Jordan back in there. I do think everyone that you saw at ringside has an opportunity, even Carmen Petrovic. But I do think that is something that I'd like to see. So, but I'm going to go with Jada Parker. I just think that's the more logical step. But even somebody like Zarya, I wouldn't mind seeing. So, yeah, let me know who you would like to see. That's the fun part about this. It's a nice little debate. Who would you like to see? Get it? But yeah, as Bob coming in saying, I like to see Lola Vice or Tasha Steelz from TNA. Well, there you go. And I think both would be very good. I do think we're gonna see probably a North American title match at Roadblock on March 11th. Birthday show. So I'd be very intrigued to see kind of who that would be. But yeah, we got Elimination Chamber in just a couple weeks, and what we're getting is almost a defined card. Yes, you will see me with Elimination Chamber predictions next Sunday. So make sure that you check that out for episode 65. But on 64, I'm going to kind of do a fast forward, and I'm going to let you know, if I was booking WrestleMania 41, what would I do? And let me tell you something. Booking a WrestleMania card is not easy because there is a lot of people. And you almost feel bad because you're going to leave people out. Sometimes you just can't get everyone in. But thankfully, with the Andre the Giant Battle Royal and what I will rename now as the Joni China Lore Battle Royal, I do believe that. I'm also going to give them a little bit of status, because now I'm creating a new rule that the winners of these Battle Royals will receive a title shot at Backlash, the PLE, after WrestleMania. Now, we can have more names in these matches. So on night one, I have Damian Priest winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and that would allow him to have a title match at Backlash. And then on night one, my roster is as follows. I have Dom Mysterio versus Finn Balor, because I think given what they're doing right now, they're at each other's throats about what to do next with the Judgment Day. And I do think Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor, that is pretty much what get. And I see at WrestleMania probably a very good division of the Judgment Day with this. So I have Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor. And then I also have Logan Paul taking on AJ Styles. That's right. I don't exactly know too much about what WWE is going to end up doing with Logan Paul, but I think a match with AJ Styles is right there. I think you can do something that is high profile. You can do something that kind of helps him showcase what he's good at doing, but also put him in the ring with somebody who, let's just face it, can make anybody look like $1 million. And with AJ Styles, I think this is a match where you're only going to benefit Logan Paul, but then also AJ Styles' stock is going to rise because he's going to show the world just how good he is, that he is so phenomenal that he can make Logan Paul phenomenal as well. For the Raw Tag Team titles, the World Tag Team titles, I have the War Raiders defending against the Creed Brothers. That's right, just a straight-up singles match. I think you don't always need to do TLCs or fatal four-ways or triple threats, even though you might see it later. I think you can just get away with a nice 2-on-2 tag match for the tag team titles. So that is what I have right now. Next up, I do have a four-way, but it's a four-way for the United States Championship. I have Andrade taking on Carmelo Hayes, taking on The Miz, taking on the United States Champion Shinsuke Nakamura. And then I'm going with Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa. Yes, I do think that what we're seeing is going to lead to something bigger. And I think Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa are destined to meet in the middle of the ring at WrestleMania. And then on night one, I also have the Intercontinental Championship. I have Braun Breaker defending his title against Penta. I think that is going to be an absolute classic. We are going to see Penta in his first ever championship match in the WWE. And I think going up against Braun Breaker, now that is a test I love to see. Then for the Women's United States Championship, I have the champion, your favorite, Chelsea Green, taking on her Secret Service member, Piper Niven. That's why I believe that what we're seeing, is just so much of a typical, I'm going to berate the person I am with because I found individual success first to the point where I make them snap, and I've talked so much that now I have to get my ass handed to me. So I have Chelsea Green versus Piper Niven for the Women's United States Championship. I then have Rhea Ripley defending her world women's title against Io Sky. I don't necessarily think what we see in the Elimination Chamber is what we'll get. I do think some things are going to happen. I think Io Sky finds her way back into that match and then finds a way to win the match. And then as my semi-main event, I have Roman Reigns going up against Seth freaking Rollins. That's right. I do believe that could be a destination that we go. I don't have The Rock competing at WrestleMania this year, but I don't think he will be absent. But in my night one finale match, yes, the last match of night one, I don't call it the main event. I do believe the main event is the last match of night two. I have the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther taking on main event Jey Uso, and that would be my night one card. So let me know what you guys have to think or have to say about that. Do you like it? Would you make any changes? I know Bobby Petito is coming in saying Braun Breaker versus Penta would be fire. Yeah. Also, speaking of fire, that entrance live in front of a WrestleMania crowd. If you're sitting by that entrance aisle, be prepared. It's going to get hot, people. It's going to get hot. I'm not going to say I'm jealous if you're sitting that close because trust me, I wasn't even in the top section of WrestleMania 22, but when we had some entrances with the pyros, you felt it and it was not nice. So I just only assume that the closer I would be, let's just say I think I'd be sweating of heat a little bit more. Just take a drink. Yeah. If you guys are asking, I'm feeling a little under the weather, so I apologize, but the show must go on, people. So night two. This is where I had some fun with it because I had Alba Fire winning the first ever China Battle Royal. And it's because I'd like to see somebody completely different win this one. Yeah, you have the likes of Nia Jax, Candice LeRae, and so many people. And this is where you can have fun. You can have fun with TNA women. You can have fun with NXT women getting an opportunity here. But I think Alba Fire would be a very intriguing choice. We did see that her tag team partner, Isla Dawn, was let go by the company last week. So this is usually a typical sign that maybe we see some out from we see something done with the other person. So to me this would be it. Alba Fire, you're the winner, and then she would receive a title shot at Backlash. In the show, I have Sami Zayn going up against Karrion Kross. When the news hit on SmackDown with Kevin Owens challenging Sami Zayn to a match potentially at Elimination Chamber, kind of squashed off anything that maybe they will be doing something at WrestleMania. So because of that, I wonder, okay, what else does Sami Zayn really have? And right now you have Karrion Kross kind of breathing down his neck a little bit. So I do think that's a natural progression for Sami Zayn. I think it's a good little break away from Seth Rollins, whether it's a Jey Uso, any bloodline-related story, even Kevin Owens as well. So I do have Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross, and I do think Elimination Chamber could be a destination for how that gets started. I do have Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair. That's right. I don't think it's Naomi who took out Jade Cargill. I do think it's Bianca Belair. I think Naomi might have been the accomplice in this whole thing. Maybe not, but I do think a Bianca Belair heel turn is the right move here. And I do think Jade Cargill versus Bianca is more of a natural match that you'd want to see over Jade Cargill versus Naomi. So I went that route. I then had a 6-team TLC match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. That's right. DIY defends their titles against the Street Profits, against Legado del Fantasma, against Pretty Deadly, against Los Garza, against the Motor City Machine Guns. This is where I think a healthy form of chaos is just necessary for WrestleMania. And then in a grudge match, I think I have an idea of where I wanted Drew McIntyre to fit in. That's right. Lately, if you've been watching SmackDown, you've been seeing LA Knight kind of take some shots back towards Drew McIntyre. I think this is a match where segments can help push this match. I think we want to hear Drew McIntyre and LA Knight spit on the microphone. I think this would be fantastic. This is what I have at WrestleMania Night 2. And then I have a dream match. A dream match that maybe one person that you may believe in has been believing this and trying to wish this match into existence. I don't have John Cena winning the Elimination Chamber. In fact, I have him coming up short. And just when he's in a moment of not understanding what his WrestleMania picture is, he doesn't think he's going to win a world title. Well, TNA World Champion Joe Hendry then comes out and once again issues a challenge to John Cena for the TNA World Championship at WrestleMania. What a way to capitalize the partnership by having the TNA World title defended at WrestleMania. But also, let's knock out two birds with one stone. The dream match that people want, John Cena versus Joe Hendry, but also put John Cena in a world title match at WrestleMania. And no, people, he still doesn't win. I then have for the Women's Intercontinental Championship a triple threat match of Lyra Valkyria defending her title against Ivy Nile and Bayley. That's right. You're wondering, okay, if you said you had Roxanne Perez going up against Cora Jade, what is Bayley doing? Well, boom, right there. Bayley does hold a singles win over Lyra Valkyria. And as I said, I do think that is something that they're going to revisit. I do think Bayley has now earned herself an opportunity against Lyra Valkyria, and as a fighting champion, I don't think Lyra Valkyria would be against it. So as they have a moment in the ring, out comes Ivy Nile, who flat out insults the champion, basically says, look, you've been dodging me. You don't want none. That's why you're going to take this Bayley match. This leads then to Ivy Nile versus Bayley. Ivy Nile picks up the win, and now we have two women who hold kind of a reason why they should get a championship. Bayley has defeated Lyra. Ivy's defeated Bayley. The only necessary logical step is a triple threat match. Next up, I have a women's tag team title match. That's right. I have Raquel and Liv Morgan, who I do think are destined to take the titles off Bianca Belair and Naomi as they defend against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. That's right. We've seen the glitch go on SmackDown during an Alexa Bliss segment representing the Wyatt Six. So I 100% expect some sort of connection between Alexa Bliss and the Wyatt Six. And we know that there is some history with Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. And let's just have some fun and put it together. This could be a very intriguing dynamic, and I want to see it. So let's have Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross get weird, join forces, and try to take those tag team titles away from Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. I then have Kevin Owens against Randy Orton. I think this is the most logical match we could see because eventually Randy Orton's going to come back. Eventually he's going to want to absolutely punt the living crap out of Kevin Owens. And what better way to do it than WrestleMania? And then next up in the semi-main event match, we have what we now know is official for WrestleMania, and that is Charlotte going up against Tiffany Stratton for the Women's Championship. I think this is something that a lot of people expected to see right after Charlotte won the Royal Rumble, and I do think that this is an eventual match. I don't think Charlotte wins the championship here, but I definitely do think Charlotte ends up becoming a women's champion in 2025. But I do want Tiffany Stratton to get the absolute most out of this match because, as I said last week, Tiffany Stratton just stands to benefit by having a match and being on the same stage as Charlotte Flair this year. What an amazing last year of Tiffany Stratton when you really think about where she was to where she is. Now she's at really the main event women's match at WrestleMania, going up against Charlotte Flair as a champion. I don't know if it gets any better. As my main event for WrestleMania goes, we have Cody Rhodes defending his world title. And if you have not picked up on it, yes, I have him going up against who I do think should win the Elimination Chamber match, and that is CM Punk. I didn't think their interaction a few weeks ago would go unnoticed. I do think the favor will be cashed in. That favor will be for Paul Heyman to help and to ensure that CM Punk wins the chamber match and gets a main event spot at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns is not in this match, so why not take this opportunity to claim your favor and get what you've been wanting for this entire time, a main event spot at WrestleMania. So Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk is my official main event for night 2 and for WrestleMania. Let me know your thoughts, and I will have that as my question of the week. What is your dream match, or what is the match you want to see for WrestleMania 41? If I can somehow get you to create your own answer, I will do that. But if not, I will just put other, and I would like you to leave a comment on it. That will be the Spotify question of the week. I'll also think about adding a poll on my X account as well. And we are kind of rushing up to that 1 hour mark, and I will be completely honest with everyone here. I am not feeling the greatest, so I am going to take this moment to say this is the end. I appreciate you guys so much. This was a great and fun episode for me. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for spending your time. If you are Canadian, tomorrow is Family Day. Please enjoy your family day. Spend time with your loved ones. And if you're not Canadian, just do the same thing. It's amazing. I know, Bobby, you were saying you had a party yesterday to celebrate your birthday from a week ago, and that is amazing to hear. But this is a time where I'm going to let you know I'm going to try to get better. I'm going to try to just take it easy so tomorrow I can spend the time with my beautiful little boy. But thank you, everyone, and make sure that you check out the affiliationprogram.my.canva.site, and hopefully we can add you guys to the Turnbuckle Studios family, the Turnbuckle Studios video that you saw earlier. And yeah, lastly, if you want to take a ride to my socials, make sure you're checking out my link tree at linktr.ee/chrisperish, and you will see my Facebook, my YouTube, my Twitch, my X, and my Instagram. I nicknamed those the 5 platforms of doom because that is where you can watch the Chris Perish podcast every Sunday at 12:15 p.m. Eastern time. And then, of course, always checking out Spotify as well. But the reason why they're the 5 platforms of doom and Spotify isn't, because those are the 5 platforms you can watch the show live. Spotify will only do that if it's a pre-recorded show. Yeah. So with that being said, I want to wish everyone a great rest of your Sunday. Go Saints, obviously, even though the NFL season's over. But more importantly, be happy, be healthy, and everybody be yourself, because at the end of the day, you matter.